Hey there, Domainers. My name is Marcelo, and welcome back to Game Domain. It's hard to believe, but it's almost 4 years since the release of Super Mario Odyssey. This game has been one of the Switch's most consistently high-selling and widely praised titles, and for good reason. It builds upon the formula of all the 3D Mario games that came before it, and on the entire Super Mario series for that matter, in some truly innovative ways. It offers the most expansive moveset Mario has ever seen, with some of the tightest controls in any 3D platformer. The addition of Cappy takes the easy-to-learn, hard-to-master approach that Mario's controls have always utilized and brings it to a whole new level. In so many ways, Super Mario Odyssey feels like the culmination of all the creativity, ingenuity, passion, and expert game design Nintendo has poured into their flagship series for the last 36 years, a celebration of the entire Super Mario series. Of course, all of this begs an important question. Where does Nintendo take the Super Mario series next? It's been said 1,000 times before, but Nintendo truly are the kings of the left field. They almost never do quite what we expect of them. So any predictions made in this video are really more of our own hopes or ideas than they are guesses as to what Nintendo has in store for the next Super Mario game. All that being said, here's where we dive headfirst into speculation territory. Perhaps the most obvious answer to what Nintendo could do with a new Super Mario title on Switch is a direct sequel to Super Mario Odyssey. Now, Nintendo has historically been hesitant to do asset reusing sequels in the 3D series, with the notable exception of Super Mario Galaxy 2. However, with the massive success of Super Mario Odyssey, which has outsold even the first Galaxy game on Wii, it's not unreasonable to think Nintendo could go this route again. After all, because Odyssey was such a change to so many of the series' conventions and offered so much uniqueness and creativity, similar to the role Galaxy had in the series in 2007, it's likely that the developers and designers behind the game have some more ideas that would fit with the mechanics of Odyssey, but were not included in the original game. Take Cappy for example. Cappy is far too powerful of a movement tool to be used in only one Mario title. Mario's moveset is utilized so well in Odyssey, and because of the expanded movement options offered by Cappy, the level design is allowed to expand as well. Areas can be larger, gaps can be wider, heights can be taller, and the adventure as a whole is allowed to become so much grander. While the first Mario Odyssey game certainly had some incredible level design, there's still so much room to grow. So many interesting ideas they could build with the Odyssey moveset in mind. For example, verticality was one area we feel Odyssey had some room to improve. Many of the kingdoms in Odyssey were some of the largest areas in any Mario game, but only a handful truly made great use of verticality. Most notably, the Metroid Kingdom offered one of the most exciting playgrounds for Mario to jump through that we've ever seen, though the Wooded and Lost Kingdoms have some great elevation as well. In a sequel to Mario Odyssey, they could focus more heavily on creating areas that still contain some wide open spaces and lots of room to explore, but also feature more vertical structures and obstacles to encourage skillful platforming and tighter level design. Then there's the way Cappy reimagined power-ups in Mario games. Rather than picking up different mushrooms and flowers to gain abilities, Mario now has the ability to possess a myriad of enemies, creatures, and objects, utilizing their unique abilities and movement options. While Odyssey has a wide variety of captures to use throughout the game, there's still a lot of room to develop this mechanic even more. First of all, think of all the classic Super Mario enemies that weren't utilized as captures in Odyssey. In a sequel, Mario could possess a Koopa and gain the ability to spin in its shell and float across the water, similar to Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. He could use a Bob-omb as a one-time attack against an enemy with lots of HP, or to break through barriers that he can't destroy with Cappy. He could use the abilities of a Boo to phase through walls and access secret areas, similar to the Boo Mushroom in Mario Galaxy. Then, even more exciting is the potential for entirely new enemies and creatures that Mario could possess. There are tons of movement options out there that the Odyssey team has not yet explored. Most intriguing is the ability to fly. Now, there are several captures in Odyssey that have flight-like movement mechanics. The Bullet Bill allows you to hover on one plane until it explodes, the Taifu lets you hover around the area indefinitely, Paragoombas let you fly as far as you please horizontally, and Glidon works like a glide suit. However, none of these allow for true, unrestrained flight. The Gushin allows you to move horizontally and vertically, helping you reach some impressive heights. But still, your vertical movement is capped, and you have a limited amount of water to propel yourself forward. We would love to see a capture in an Odyssey sequel that takes flying to the next level, with truly unrestricted movement in all directions. Now, this ability might be too powerful for regular level traversal, but they could work it into other areas of the game. Maybe there are special levels that take place high in the sky, like the Cloud Kingdom from the original game, but featuring more interesting movement than simply walking across flat cloud platforms. You could possess a flying creature and use it to navigate smaller levels specifically designed to work with the flying mechanic. These could be smaller kingdoms or even challenge areas within kingdoms. Then, as an incentive for 100% completion, that flying creature could spawn in any kingdom you've collected all the moons for, allowing for free movement and exploration throughout the area without compromising the integrity of the challenges the levels require to complete to advance through the game. Maybe there could be a lizard you could capture that would allow you to scale walls, allowing for enormous verticality in the level design. There could even be heights that are made to be climbed with the lizard creature, but are also possible to reach with Mario's base moveset, requiring expert level precision to appeal to more skilled players. They could expand upon the idea of the RC car capture and have a full-blown Mario Kart-style racing challenge, where you capture a race car and use it to compete in a series of increasingly difficult races. A car capture could also be a blast to explore a cityscape like New Donk City, should it make a return in a sequel. These are just a few ideas for new capture mechanics. There are so many more that could be developed for an Odyssey sequel. Then there's the potential for a more interesting story in an Odyssey sequel. The first game already had one of the series' most enjoyable ending sequences, which gave Peach more agency than she's typically afforded, but we'd love to see Nintendo go further. First off, let's have a non-Bowser villain as the main antagonist. This idea is a half joke, but what if they bring back the Metro Kingdom, use it as a sort of hub world for the sequel? The plot could be focused on the energy crisis resulting from New Donk City's harvesting of power from power moons. Maybe there's some big bad executive who doesn't care about the damage power moon harvesting is doing to the world, and Mario has to figure out how to free the power moons from the factory underneath the city. What if Pauline herself turned out to have her own evil motive, since her city is powered by the moons? Then, to tie into Pauline's roots, Donkey Kong could even make an appearance as a playable capture like Bowser in the final sequence of the first Odyssey game. Okay, maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves here. There's not bad ideas in brainstorming, but that sure is a far-fetched plot. As fun as it could be to use an existing character like Pauline as the main baddie, it would be even cooler if they were to create an original character with unique motives and a new personality for Mario to go up against. It would breathe new life into the Super Mario series, and make an Odyssey sequel stand out from its predecessor far more than it ever would with Bowser as the main villain once more. It would give the game its own unique identity and an immediately recognizable character and story given its uniqueness in the world of Mario. While Nintendo seems borderline unwilling to give Mario games more complex stories, with the exception of the Mario RPG games and Rosalina's Storybook in Galaxy, it would be so refreshing to have a grand 3D adventure on par with Odyssey, but this time with a more fleshed out and engaging plot. Having a new villain is an easy way to accomplish this without having to spend an unreasonable amount of development time crafting some grand narrative. Clearly, there's a lot that Nintendo could do with the winning gameplay formula of Mario Odyssey. However, there's a few other options that they have for new entries in the Super Mario series on Switch. They could simply make another 2D Mario game. After all, it's the only 2D Super Mario game on Switch, other than NES and SNES titles available through Nintendo Switch Online, is a deluxe port of the Wii U title New Super Mario Bros. U. This would be a safe route since 2D Mario games always perform successfully. However, it's hard to imagine how they could truly innovate on the formula at this point, particularly since 2 Mario Maker titles exist, with one on the Switch. Mario Maker has allowed players and fans of the series to exercise their own level design creativity, crafting levels that are far more unique and convention-breaking than standard 2D Mario levels. Of course, any Mario game Nintendo makes will likely have incredible level design with nearly unparalleled polish, but it's hard to see a vanilla 2D Mario title making a big splash at this point in the series' development. Even if Nintendo completely broke the mold and made a completely new kind of 2D Mario, Mario Maker and Mario Maker 2 offer a nearly endless supply of levels that already defy expectations. This leads us into 2 more possibilities for the future of the Super Mario series: an evolution of the Mario Maker formula, and a reimagining of course-clear Mario titles. The first idea is the least likely in our opinion: Mario Maker 3D, a third Mario Maker title, either on the Switch or whatever Nintendo's next console will be, with a fully 3D level editor. They could use the engines behind an existing game, such as Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, or 3D Land or World, as the foundation for the game creation tool, or even have the option to switch between these similar to the different game style options in Mario Maker 1 and 2. Now, we'll admit that this game seems unlikely. However, large 3D level editors are not unheard of. In fact, they're a pretty common feature in AAA games, albeit not from Nintendo. And while it's hard to imagine them creating this, especially during the Switch's lifetime, we can't help but just imagine how amazing it would be to craft our own sandbox levels, 3D platforming challenges, and open world areas for Mario to explore. Of course, one big risk to this approach would be that as users create their own 3D Mario levels and campaigns, a similar effect may happen to Nintendo's own 3D Mario titles, as has happened to the 2D games. However, we feel that it's less likely that the 3D Mario games will become more stale than the 2D ones, given the grander, more expansive, and more free nature of 3D games over 2D ones. There is more that Nintendo can do with a 3D Mario title than fans would likely have the tools or expertise to craft themselves, especially since a Mario Maker 3D would probably not be nearly as powerful of a creation tool as what Nintendo uses in-house. Basically, the creativity ceiling is arguably much higher for 3D Mario games than 2D ones, meaning there is more room for Nintendo to surprise and amaze us with 3D titles than there is for new 2D games. Next is a more realistic idea, which is for Nintendo to rethink the role of course clear in sandbox Mario games. Right now, there are three primary types of games in the Super Mario series: 2D games, which always follow the course clear formula, course clear 3D Mario games, and sandbox 3D games. Many of you are probably familiar with the chart Nintendo put out around Odyssey's release, which grouped up the 3D Mario games into the course clear and sandbox categories. Perhaps they will lean into that separation and focus on developing these two categories into completely separate game styles, effectively replacing traditional 2D Mario games with course clear style 3D ones. Now, there will likely always be a market for 2D Mario platformers, so we're not necessarily saying that they would cease development of 2D games entirely, but they may become less frequent entries in the Super Mario series as course clear 3D games in the vein of Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World sort of take their place in the series as the course clear games. This is a realistic option for Nintendo to take, particularly after the release of the first two Mario Maker games, which have changed the way we think of 2D Mario. These are just a handful of directions we could see Nintendo taking the Super Mario series for future titles on Switch. I'm sure there's many more avenues that they could explore, ranging from likely possibilities to the far-fetched to wacky concepts. Of course, those tend to be Nintendo's specialty. So, what do you think Nintendo will do for their next Super Mario game? Will it be a safe option like an Odyssey sequel, or a brand new 2D game, something unexpected like a 3D Mario Maker, or will they just shatter our expectations and make a first-person VR Mario game? Whether our speculative ideas really resonated with you, or if you think we're way off base, please go down to the comments and respectfully let us know. We would love to hear your ideas, and if you'd like to hear more of ours, remember to subscribe to the channel and join our official Discord server. This has been Marcelo with Game Domain, and we'll see you in the next video.